Hello, everyone, guys. Today we have a superstar. It's the first time when we have somebody. Well, and it's actually difficult to bump into the street to somebody who was on $1 million listing. But here today we have Ben, and like I feel privileged to ask a few questions to such experienced agent on the market. Ben, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. You're too kind. I mean, that was a great introduction. Thank you so much.
Ben, yeah, it's like we already know a few things about you through the show. You closed a lot of deals. You are here for more than 20 years. Can you please tell us how did you end up in Dubai?
So it's quite an interesting story. I was about 24, 25 years old. I had dropped out of university. School was not going too well for me. I didn't know what I was doing in my life. And I had approached a family friend. He was a bit of a mentor. He was very successful in his business, and he got along with my parents because at that time things were not going so well for me with my family and my personal life. So he said, Ben, you're a smart guy. I believe in you. I want you to come work for me, and I want you to move to the Middle East. I want you to move to Dubai.
Wow.
Right. So this was 2001, roughly around 2001, 2002. I had never heard of Dubai. I had never lived in the Middle East. I was born and raised in Canada. And I'm like, it was a big risk for me to leave everything behind and to move to the other side of the world, right? And so first I rejected it. I rejected him. I said, thank you so much. And I waited for about 6 months to a year. Nothing was really happening in my personal life. And so I approached him again and I said, I'm going to take you up on your offer. Mm-hmm. So I moved here in 2002, July of 2002. I never looked back. And it was perfect timing because the real estate freehold had just started. Emaar was the very first developer in the market. They were selling off-plan. There was not one ready property in all of Dubai or the UAE for that matter. And so I got thrown in from the very beginning.
So your first job was real estate? You immediately started in the real estate?
Immediately. So as soon as I touched down in Dubai, I got off the flight. The first day I went to work, which was the Emirates Towers. I was on the 51st floor. My boss told me, you know what, here's a car, here's the key. You drive to Emaar Sales Center in Dubai Marina. I didn't know where the sales center was. I didn't know anything. And he tested me because he said, look, driving in Dubai is a little different than back in Canada. Mm. So he gave me the key. He said, go a few times, see if you can handle it, and start selling real estate. So I had no training. I was just thrown in the deep end, and I remember just going to the Emaar Sales Center and just approaching people, talking to people, learning about the products, and just networking.
Who were the buyers back then? Because back then nobody knew about Dubai and it was like pure desert. Who were buying in 2000?
So at that time it was very difficult because it was all a dream. Everything was being sold off on paper and off plan. So the majority of the buyers back then were Iranians. A lot of them were coming from Iran because of obviously, Dubai being a safe haven. A lot of the restrictions back in Iran, you don't have them over here. So you can fly over. It's a 2.5 hour flight. You've got movie theaters, you've got cinemas, you've got nightclubs, you've got bars. You can obviously, it's an open society here in the UAE, but
so even back then it was in such demand. It was a platform for them to
it was a safe haven for them, and because the culture is so similar, and the Iranians would fly here and they felt right at home.
What was your first impression of Dubai? You came in the summer. It's super hot, and you came from Canada where it's cold.
Right.
Did you regret that you came to Dubai in the first week or two?
Well, when I first stepped out of the airport, I'll never forget the sliding glass door opened and this wave, this heat wave just hit me right in the face, and it was just like it was like being in a sauna, and I had never experienced it in my life. So I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? So it was quite difficult adapting initially, like at the beginning. And it's a completely different city now. I mean, the skyscrapers, the buildings. I mean, Sheikh Zayed, 70% of it didn't exist. You had the American University, you had the Hard Rock Cafe, and none of the DIFC, none of the Media City, Internet City. Half of Sheikh Zayed didn't even exist.
So how did you convince yourself to stay? Why I'm asking this question, because even now, people who are coming to Dubai, they realize quite quickly, oh, it's not that easy and stuff. But back then, like, it was like the temperature is different. There was absolutely nothing over here. So what held you here? What kept you in Dubai?
I think it's a combination of quite a few things. I mean, the culture. One, I love the Middle Eastern culture.
I'm talking about this initial stage of you coming here as a young guy.
Just the people. The people here are very kind. They're very hospitable. The culture is very similar to, obviously, I'm Middle Eastern, so I'm Iranian descent, born and raised in Canada. So the culture is very similar. People here respect you. Just the smallest things. For example, people, the culture here, they respect the women. There's separate lines for women. You cannot swear. You cannot treat people badly. In Canada, growing up was very difficult for me. Being born in the 70s and being raised and going to a predominantly a school where the ethnicity was white. I got picked on a lot.
Oh yeah.
I got beat up and I got bullied. So I didn't have very fond memories. But when I came and I moved to Dubai, I felt like I was right at home. I felt like it was my country. You know what I mean? So you don't see any of this here. Everyone is equal. People respect each other.
Yeah.
Right? So for me was the most important thing. And then I stuck through it because I saw the vision of the leadership. I saw that, what is happening and what's the future of this country, the vision. And I believed in it. A lot of the people who'd fly in and a lot of the clients that I talked to, they didn't believe in it. They said, this will never be built. I remember. And I said, no, you're wrong. And now those people, obviously, they regret not believing and not listening to me.
Yeah. Ben, tell us about your first deal that you closed in the real estate. How it happened.
Okay. So the company I was working for, I actually was a bit exploited because they threw me in the deep end. They said, go and sell EMAR properties. So I bumped into a family friend from Vancouver, Canada, and he happened to buy 12 properties from EMAR. So
that's a good friend.
It was yeah, exactly. And I didn't know he was that wealthy. I knew the family from Canada, but then we happened to bump into each other, and he said, I'm looking at buying properties. I took him to the EMAR sales center, and he's like, I'm buying for myself, my cousin, my brother, my uncle. So he bought for the entire family. And at that time, the prices were obviously much lower than they are today, right? So yeah, it was a good sale. But I didn't make too much money, to be honest with you, because the company I was working for said, I'll pay you 1,000 dirhams for every property that you sell.
But probably you had a salary.
Yeah, it was a very low salary. Quite low.
And just out of curiosity, back then when EMAR was selling the projects, did they offer as well payment plans and something like this?
Yeah, it was incredible payment plans because they had just started. So the payment plans back then were 30%, so it was 10%. 6 months later, 10%. Another 6 months, 10%, and 70% on completion.
Yeah, incredible.
So these were the Meadows, the Springs, the Six Towers, and the Dubai Marina. Those were the days.
My first area where I was working, it was Greens. And Greens was one of the first residential freehold projects, from EMAR in terms of the apartments. And I managed to speak with some owners who bought originally from EMAR. And they were saying that when they were buying it, like there was absolutely nothing around, and they were going on the golf carts in the area, and they were saying like EMAR was pushing us to purchase it. So there was no such big demand at all. When did it change that like Dubai attracted a lot of real estate buyers. Did you feel this moment on the market when something switched?
Absolutely. Excuse me.
Take your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember. They had lease to own in the Greens. Emaar was offering lease to own. Their payment plans were 30/70, and it was not like it is today. I feel that it completely changed when Emaar started delivering and handing over properties. So in the meadows and the springs, so people could actually see it was a tangible product. It wasn't intangible anymore. So when people actually started seeing the communities, and Emaar is obviously it's a master developer, right? So they develop lifestyles. So when people started seeing the golf courses and they started seeing the lakes and the views in the 6 towers, then there was confidence in the market. Then the secondary started. People started selling resale properties.
Which year was it?
It was roughly around 2004, 2005. I remember doing my first resale. It was the Meadows. It was exactly 2004.
So from 2004 until 2008, something happened with the real estate market in Dubai. Like it was like booming.
It was booming. It was crazy.
Everybody talking about it. First of all, you as the person who experienced it, and can you compare this time to what is happening right now with the Dubai market? Is it similar, or back then it was even more active than it is now?
I think it's similar and it's different in different ways. So similar because it was booming. There was a rush. The entire world was coming to Dubai. Different because they're completely two different markets now. Back then, it was not regulated. You didn't have escrow accounts. So people were just launching projects off plan. They were putting deposits on land, like 10%, and they were launching projects and collecting 20%. So they were actually building properties with your money and developments. They were funding and financing their properties. Today, it's completely different. Obviously, the Dubai government, Riyad, the lands department, now they've implemented escrow accounts, right? So it's a completely different market. It's much regulated. So yes, now the world is back and looking at Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the UAE, because of everything, because of the country, how the post-COVID was handled, the lifestyle, tax-free. I mean, the list goes on, right? But it's a much better market now. It's completely regulated. And Dubai and Abu Dhabi is the most regulated real estate market in the Middle East. It's number one.
Ben, throughout your career, can you highlight one year that you can say that this was my best year?
Besides last year was an extremely good year.
Yeah, last year was, thanks God.
For everyone, I think, right?
Good times.
I heard you did extremely well. Through the grapevine.
Well, I'm telling to everyone, throughout these 10 years, like I joined a market like it was 2013, 14, like we have a downtrend. And like our pitch was, it cannot go down, the price cannot go down for so long. Next month it's going to go up. So this is what we were saying. It was keep on going down. And yeah, finally, people who managed to stay in the market, like from until 2020.
Real estate is a long-term. It's a long-term game, right? If you jump into the real estate for a year or 2 years, you're expecting to make money. If the market's going up, yes, anyone can do that. But then you have to be ready for a downturn as well, because there's a 7-year cycle in real estate, 5 to 7 years. It goes up, and then there's a correction, and sometimes it'll go down. But when it goes down, it'll also go back up. So you just have to be ready. It's like a roller coaster ride.
So besides, it's good that you highlighted it, that besides last year, which year you can say that was really good for you?
For me, 2008, 2009 was incredible. It was an incredible year. It was almost a dream. So
bring us back to those times, because like now people are facing
crazy.
Something like this.
It was like I tell people it was like working at McDonald's and just like people would just order, like line up to order, and I want this property, I want that property, right? It was just like, I remember waking up in the morning, and it was different as well. The market was completely different. Now we're tech driven. Back then you didn't have the Bayouts, the Dubizzles, the Property Finders. Everything was print media. And I'm actually going to do a social media clip on that as well. For me, when I started in 2002, right? And I was working for I was actually working for the largest real estate. We used to advertise in the Gulf News, right? So I remember we used to go on the CRM, we'd click the properties that we wanted. Those properties would go to the marketing department. The marketing department would then create the what do you call it? The design, the graphic design, and they would send it to Gulf News, right? Sometimes this whole process took about 4 or 5 days to a week, right? The properties that we advertised were even sold by the time it even hit the newspaper.
Yeah.
Right? So it was completely different. We'd have to wait for our Gulf News ads to go out to market our properties.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up, jumping in the shower, taking a shower, coming out, and I'd have like 35 missed calls. It was insane. The market was on fire. Right?
Do you think it's related to the point that there were not so many agents back then?
That's also yes, definitely.
And now we have way more.
Yeah, I mean, what's the number now today? I can't even keep track.
Well, we have 12,000 registered and
Right.
Around 40,000 that are not
Unregistered,
Yeah,
right.
we know it because really tracks.
Right?
the
I was just watching I was on Instagram, and one of my friends just posted on Instagram. He's like, I took a Uber yesterday, and the Uber driver said, "Sir, if you're interested in Palm Jebel Ali, let me know."
Yeah,
So you've got the 15,000 plus the 40,000 plus you've got like the 10,000 who are just, everyone's now just jumping in the real estate, trying to do something, get a piece of the pie, right?
Yeah, for sure. Ben, like in the
So to answer your question, 2009 I did about, I think, 3 billion worth of sales.
wow, alone?
Yeah, I did about two and a half thousand with my team. And I did about 500 million on my own. Did a few Albararis here and there, but I was the driving force behind those sales. Yeah.
So when you're saying a team, like you were like a sales manager, or you own the company by then?
I was a shareholder in the company. Yes. Yeah. And we had exclusive projects, so we did project sales and marketing as well. So, for example, they asked me, I think it was one of these publications, I had an interview. They asked me, what was your largest sale that you had done? So my single transaction was about 500,000 dirhams, 500, yeah, sorry, 500 million dirhams, 500 million. So I sold 15 floors in the D1 tower and 32 units in the Palazzo Versace. But then I ended up reselling those for my investor. So that's one of many sales which I'm very proud of.
Have you resold all of them?
I sold 80% of the projects, actually, of the Versace and D1 up until 2009.
I love D1 Tower. It's a
beautiful
so you managed to sell it before 2000, before the crisis, so it happened
Before
after?
the crisis, we sold 80% of the projects. I had a project in White Bay, which was called White Bay in Al Khaim. That was exclusive with me as well. So that was 6,000 products. So it was very similar to, you could say, the Palm Jumeirah. It was a waterfront community, and it was owned by 2 sheikhs and the government. And I had exclusivity on the project. We had sold, you could say, about 80% of that project as well, about 4,800 units. But then in 2009, they decided to cancel the project. 2009-10, they didn't continue with the project. And then in 2012, they announced that there's no bankruptcy here, but they announced that the project was completely canceled. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it does happen.
Yeah, and back then no regulations and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Ben, during these crazy times of 2008 and 2009, like what are some of the mistakes that you see right now that you were doing as an agent?
2008, 2009?
Yeah, like so. Let's put it this way: it was a very active market. You could do a lot of business, but most probably you regret that maybe you haven't done something during such conditions when the market is booming. What was that?
2008, 2009. Look, I don't, in life in general, I don't have any regrets. And you can't regret, because if you regret, then you're going to dwell on the past and you can't concentrate and focus on the future. So no regrets, but I can tell you the mistakes that I made. 2008, 2009, I got carried away with all the money that I was making, right? I remember investing in floors, spending 500,000, putting a deposit on a floor, and the same day getting $1 million back. So I made 100% return on investment. It was insane. It was crazy. I got tied up in that whirlwind, right? When you see the money and you don't know where it's coming from, it's just falling down. Then sometimes you get lost and you lose perspective, right? So when I started my career in 2004, 2005, 2006, I said, look, wow, I'm making so much money. This eventually has to end. That was always in the back of my mind, right? But then I got carried away in 2008. I started investing off plan. I started investing with my investors. So I had money everywhere. And then when the crisis happened, and it's like turning off the tap of the water, right? It was completely dry.
Immediately.
My partner, he wrote checks and he couldn't make the payments, unfortunately. And now he's in Los Angeles.
Can come here,
right? He's in Los
filming in a $1 million listing, LA.
right. So that's one mistake, is you just have to always be grounded, always keep things in perspective. Don't get carried away when you're making too much money. The other mistake I made was I wasn't consistent. I was running after the money. So what I mean by being consistent is I set up my own company, right? I did very well. But then when the crisis happened, I just shut everything down. I wasn't consistent. You know what I mean?
So you wasn't on the market. Like you took a break.
I took some time, yeah, of course. Can you imagine losing 40 million dirhams overnight?
Yeah. This is how much you got lost?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's very difficult.
Right? It's some people can't even cope with it, right? So you could say I had to start all over again from the beginning.
Yeah, 40 million back then was different money than 40 million now.
Right? So it was a lot of time, effort that I put into my career, and all the hard work that I had done, it was just like flushed down the drain. Right?
So what do you think would be the better path for Ben back then? So you're the guy who making lots of money. You're making money in the real estate, as some people right now, agents doing now, and it looks like an obvious decision to invest in the real estate. Right. So would you change any other assets, or you will just keep the money?
No,
what do you mean by being grounded in this sense?
So I would say my advice would be consistent, continue to do what you're doing, and do what you're good at, right, and what you're passionate, which is real estate. Obviously, I think it's the best job in the world, and I think that anyone who's doing it loves doing it. If they don't, then they shouldn't be doing it. And if the market does change, if that tap does get shut off, don't stop doing it. Just continue. Be consistent, right? There are going to be years, I mean, you've experienced it, I've experienced it. There's going to be years that you're not going to be able to make as much money as you did the previous years, but the market will come back and it will turn. And that's been proven over and over again, right?
Yeah, several times, yeah.
Yeah. So I took a year off, a year and a half, maybe 2 years in 2009. I was doing a few deals here and there. I had my clients who wanted rentals, paid the bills, but I wasn't focused, right? And then other people I saw entering the market in 2009, all right, who are big players now. They've built empires.
Yes.
Right?
We have a common friend.
We have common friends. We have many common friends. I mean, many. So, I mean, some of the biggest companies today started in 2009, 2010, when the market had crashed, right? So all of these they're not regrets, they're lessons. So I learned from it. And when the COVID happened, right, I said, you know what? This is the best time to set up a company. And that's what I did. When everyone was shutting down and then everyone was downsizing, I set up my company, Ben.
Amazing. Yeah. By the way, can you tell us about transition from being an agent to opening a real estate company? How does idea come to your mind, and when it ticked like, yes, I need to do this?
Well, it was always in the back of my mind, but I'm very conservative.
Every agent thinks about opening the company, but not so many do.
Yeah. Look, it's not easy.
It's not easy, and well, personally for me, I don't want to open a company.
Right.
And everybody's asking me, Dennis, why are you not opening the company and stuff? And
Well, every
for you, was it in the I assume you were like an agent who was a top performer.
Yes.
And you said, okay, what motivated
I mean,
you to open a company?
when I was throughout my career, I worked at some of the largest real estate companies, and I was surrounded by a lot of agents, and they always said, Ben, you're a company yourself. Why don't you set up a company, right? I'm very conservative because I know the work that it takes behind the scenes to do it. You've got marketing, you've got accounts. Now you've got WPS, you've got Go AML. You've got so many other factors that fall into it, right? I just always wanted to be focused on doing the deal. I'm a deal maker. I want to focus on sales. I didn't want to worry about marketing department. Okay, how is marketing? How much do we have to spend? What's the return on investment? You know, I'm a salesperson by nature, right? So to answer your question, why I decided to set up my own company is because of the Million Dollar Listing franchise. And because I knew that Million Dollar Listing UAE had been given the green light. I'm like, okay, now there's no better time than to set up my own company because I have this insane platform which will give me maximum exposure, right? So first, I went after Million Dollar Listing. $1 million listing, when it was finalized and when it was agreed, and we got the green light, then I said, you know what? Now it's time to set up my company.
Interesting. Okay, if we touched already $1 million listing, let's discuss it a little bit. So,
Right.
Tell us the story how you become a part of million dollar listing. A dream of any agent.
Oh, it's a dream come true. I'm just so it's so surreal. It's just I wake up with a smile every morning now. I mean, I'm a big fan of the show. My colleague and Jennifer Sabri, who's also an executive producer on the show, she introduced the show to me. I started watching it and I fell in love with it. I mean, the Altman brothers, Ryan Serhant, I couldn't stop watching it. And I'm like, why is this show not here in Dubai and in the Middle East? We have some of the best properties in the world. I mean, you go to Abu Dhabi, it's insane, right? The skyscrapers, the properties, the villas, the quality. I mean, Aldar is one of the best developers in the world. I mean, the quality they have is second to none, right? We've got the Burj Khalifas, we've got the Palm Islands, we've got man-made islands, the shape of palm trees. Who has that, right? So I'm like, we have the properties, right? And we've got the agents. We've got some of the best agents in the world. And there's drama as well. Every day I'm dealing with agents and there's always a fight or there's always something happening, right?
100%. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you know, right? So I'm like, we've got all the ingredients for the best $1 million listing franchise in the world. And so I went after it. It was just a dream. I knew the power of media.
What exactly you did when you're saying you ran after it? What were your steps?
Oh wow! It was. I'm not gonna bore you. It was about 3 years of basically contacting NBC Universal and then Image Nation, who are the format owners. Mm-hmm. They're Abu Dhabi government. And they loved the concept. They jumped on it, and they're like, why hasn't this been done? And so I had 3 years of rejection. I was knocking on doors here in Dubai. I spoke with everyone you can think of, and people just turned me away, and they laughed at me.
What was your request when you were knocking on these doors?
I said, look, I'm just a real estate guy, but I've got such a great idea. This is a 2-time Emmy-nominated show. It's in 140 countries. It focuses on the culture of the city or the country that's being showcased, and it shows the best properties and the whole real estate cycle, and it's entertaining at the same time. Who doesn't want to see entertainment? Who doesn't want to see Dubai real estate, right? And so for me, it was a no-brainer. The people that I sat with and I pitched it to them, they're like, yeah, okay, it's great. But when it came to the finances and the financials and the partnerships and this and that, just closed doors. I kept hitting brick walls, kept getting rejected.
Did you change something in your pitch, or maybe it's something in your approach that finally you made it happen? Like finally,
yeah, my approach. I said, you know what? I'm just let's try Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi.
It never even crossed my mind, because I've been living in Dubai for 20 years. I've been selling Dubai real estate.
Such a good idea.
And so I just got tired of because I had talked to you wouldn't even believe. And so it was one phone call to Abu Dhabi. It was a cold call. Literally. And I called His Excellency. He picked up the phone. Actually, I called him. He didn't answer his phone. He called me back 15 minutes. I was completely shocked. And I pitched it to him. I said, 2-time Emmy nominated show. It's in 140 countries. And it's the best real estate show in the world. And he said, I'm interested. What do you need? I said, I need everything. And he started laughing at me. And then he said, okay, I'll get someone to call you back.
Wow, such a story.
And voila, here we are.
Yeah, amazing.
But it's not that easy. And then pretty much I met Image Nation, and their team is just amazing. Sat with them, and then they took care of everything, and I just enjoyed the ride.
So you one of the main agents on the Million Dollar Listing, yeah. And beside this, what kind of role you were doing directly in the show? Behind besides putting it together,
right? So Image Nation had acquired the format, and then it took some time, obviously, to prepare everything. And when they got the format, I was told, Ben, thank you so much. You're an executive producer on the show. However, you're not guaranteed that you'll be a cast member.
Wow!
And you can imagine the feeling that I had. Like, I just got goosebumps right now, just saying it. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, there's no guarantees. It's really up to the broadcaster, and whether you're, fit, and whether you're good enough to be on Million Dollar Listing. You might not be good in front of the camera. And I was like, well, what are you saying? What do you mean? 3 years I've been running after. I'm thinking in my mind, 3 years I'm running after this, and now you're telling me that I may not even be on the show. And so I was just like, the insecurities that I had, and my back was just up against the wall, and just, I had to wait another 2 years, and then I had to go through the auditioning process that everyone else had to go
through.
Can you imagine? No, honestly.
Difficult. Yeah.
Difficult. And I was like literally just like biting my lip, through the whole audition, and just wondering whether I'm going to make the next round or not. Right. And then I had 2 hats to wear. I had obviously a cast and executive producer as well. So it was very difficult. It was not easy.
How many people were participating in the audition?
So we started with 3,000 people.
Jesus. 3,000.
But there was a certain criteria, because companies that did off plan and were focused on off plan, and we're talking about 2 years back, year and a half back. Those were kind of excluded from the show
because you need to show something.
Right, exactly. It's showing houses, it's walking through and selling a house. It's not selling off-plan properties. So we had shortlisted a few companies. We started with 3,000 people, and then it went to about 300, then 100. And then I remember 30, and then we had top 10, and then 8. We cut it down, and then we finally picked the final 5 cast members.
I assume after the series you became like close friends, or how are your relationship with the cast members?
So Riyad Gohar, who's partners in Black Oak, I know him for 15 years. I know him when he was working with Cecilia. Cecilia's at Aldar now. So we used to work together at Fine and Country. And they were my competitors. I used to work Jumeirah Park. So I know Riyad from then. We always hit it off. We were always close friends. Ramy, it's a quite funny story. Ramy, I knew that Million Dollar Listing was coming up. And Ramy had posted his very first video.
So he never filmed before, you mean?
Never filmed before. He just did a walkthrough in an Armani apartment. Right? So he filmed the video. Firaz had posted it on his Instagram. I had seen the video and I'm like, wow, this guy's really good. So I reached out to him. I met him in the Armani. We had a coffee together and I said, Ramy, by the way, have you seen the show called Million Dollar Listing? And he said, I saw 5 minutes of it and, I wasn't quite sure. And I stopped watching it. And I said, look, you need to watch this show. You need to watch it. Promise me you're going to watch it and come back to me. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. So I was chasing him for like 2 weeks. Have you watched it? Did you watch it? And I remember one day him calling me up and he's like, Ben, I watched the entire season and I was blown away. He's like, I can't stop watching it. This is awesome. Thank you so much for introducing this to me. So when I met him, I told him, look, I saw your video. You're really good in front of the camera. You're obviously you speak Arabic as well. And he, interestingly enough, he speaks every single dialect of Arabic. He can speak Egyptian, he can speak local, he can speak Syrian, you name it, right? And so I told him, look, you'd be perfect for the show. And so he started watching, he loved the show, and then that's how we met. And he was handling a few of my apartments as well. He was doing my rentals, and I wanted to sell one of my apartments as well, and I listed it with him. So so I've known him for now about 2.5 years, 3 years. And we've become really good friends.
What about other cast members? Like, you spent
some of us.
For how long did you guys were filming the first season?
So first season was about 6 months.
And during this time, you saw each other quite often, right?
Not so much, actually, to be honest with you, because Riyad and I saw each other a lot. Because we have a lot of crossovers. So we filmed Allegra together on the Palm by Innovate Living. We did the Lagoons by Aldar in Abu Dhabi. We competed in a golf tournament. I'm not gonna obviously I'm not gonna give it away or spoil it, but there was some drama. We did compete for a property in Abu Dhabi. So Riyad and I, we had a lot of screen time together. We did interact a lot. And not so much with the other. I mean, everyone kind of did their own thing. So we don't, Zay, I just had met when she had been cast. So I don't know her for too long. Nasira, same. Right? Nasira works in District 1. I don't really work in District 1 area, so I don't really interact with them.
What did you change in your presentations after working with guys who are filming such shows? Did you change maybe something in your tonality, in your energy on the camera, or something like this? Let's put it this way: how the show improved your presentations, if it did?
The show doesn't really improve the presentation. It's not easy to be in front of a camera because subconsciously you know that everyone's gonna see you. So I was worried about all my flaws and how I'm gonna look in front of the camera. So at first it was quite difficult for me, right? After a while, you've been doing this for a while, right? After a while, you get very comfortable in front of the camera and you just pretend like it's not even there, right? So at first, it was very difficult. It was frightening, to be honest with you. And I'm like a diesel engine. It takes me some time to warm up and to get used to the camera. But after a while, it's just you get used to it.
What about the season 2? Is it in the plans?
So season 2 is confirmed. They announced it at the premiere party, and we were all excited and over the moon. We are number 1 on Stars Play right now.
Yeah, congrats, amazing.
Thank you.
And because of the show, I'm sure like thousands of agents bought subscriptions to this platform. So yeah, they should say as well a lot of thanks to the show.
And for those who haven't, subscribe to Stars Play. It's a Stars Play app. It's on the.
I'm sure our viewers out there.
Right, exactly. And we've got 9 episodes. It's. I mean, you've seen it. What are your thoughts?
Outstanding. This level of production, when you film Dubai and Abu Dhabi from the air, it already takes your breath away, and the communication between the characters, the drama a little bit here and there, right. Well, obviously, I'm a big fan of Million Dollar Listing, and obviously, it's really a pleasure for me to see it here in Dubai and see the properties and stuff. I've seen first series for now. We're launching Jebel Ali Palm and some other things. Right. being busy with the launches, but extremely good in terms of the production, and I really enjoyed it.
Amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope everyone likes it.
Oh, for sure. And it will be interesting not only for the real estate agents, for other people from other industries as well.
Absolutely.
For the season 2, you will have the same cast, or it will be different?
So season 2, I can't confirm anything. However, we were auditioning at the premiere party. Mm-hmm. So there is an opportunity for brokers or agents to be on Million Dollar Listing season 2.
Is there any restrictions for the agents who is filming in the Million Dollar Listings in terms of what he can do with his social media, or there is no restrictions on him? Like when the show is done, do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think no. It's we just get on with our lives, right? Nothing has really changed. Mm-hmm. There's no restrictions whatsoever.
Yeah, I see. Well, that's cool to see who will be on the cast in season 2. Yeah. But is it like one of the person needs to say I'm not filming anymore in order to replace this person, or it's up to the producers?
I think it's really. I don't know what the criteria is, to be honest with you. I think every one of the cast members did an amazing job. Everyone's a superstar. And I think everyone deserves to be on the show. It really depends on the audience and the reviews. And at the end of the day, the broadcaster has to decide who's fit and who's not.
Yeah, I see.
Right. So who was your favorite character?
Oh,
you don't have to say me.
No, I cannot say you because otherwise it will look like. I like how Ramy performs. I know Ramy for a long time. We don't know each other personally. I know that he's like a superstar and fam. I know that he's taking care of our money very well. He controls that.
Ramy's great.
That area. But energy-wise, I really liked. Well, for me, it was a surprise. Let's put it this way. How he acts on the camera. So besides you, I cannot say you. Ramy will be on the first.
Ramy actually he toned it down. He's got a much larger personality. Yeah. So but he's great. He's awesome.
Yeah. So my favorite for now.
Amazing.
Ben, let's discuss a little bit the current market and what do you see will happen with the market in the future of Dubai, like in the next 1 or 2 years. Yeah, you already mentioned that last year was really good for all of us. What is happening right now with the Dubai market?
Well, right now, the market's on fire, right? People are speculating, right? I remember last year's people saying the market's going to crash in 6 months. It can't sustain. But look, the entire world is coming here. What's stopping it? Right? I think this place is the best place on the planet. Dubai, Abu Dhabi. So I don't see the market coming down in the next couple of years.
Is there any specific product product that you're more focusing on right now?
Right now, the only product that I'm focusing on is my company. Right?
You're building the team.
Because I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm not just a broker. So yes, I am doing my deals, right? I'm catering to my clients, whatever their needs are, whether it's Emirates Hills, whether it's a villa on the Palm, whether it's off plan. So I'm like a wrench. You know, the wrench opens and closes like this. I do everything. I'm not just an off plan specialist, right? I'm an advisor. So for me right now, my number one priority is to scale my company, to bring in good people.
We have lots of agents.
Lots of
watching.
agents. Yeah, but I have, yeah. So if you're
what are your criteria?
So if you're interested, hit me up. But I'm very selective as well.
To what do you pay attention to?
So for me, the most important thing is character, honesty, and integrity. Most important, right? And of course, then I have to sit down with the candidate. I have to talk to them. I have to see if they're ambitious. There's certain criteria I look for. Empathy is very important. You know what I mean? If you're empathetic, then you care about other people's feelings, right? You want to care about your investors, and you don't want to just sell them a property just because it's high in commission. You want to take care of them because it's long term, right? Some of my clients, like my oldest client, is probably one of my very first clients, which I told you about. They still buy and sell from me because I've always had their best interests in heart, right? So this is what I want. If I could, I would clone myself. There would be like 30, 40 of me. You know what I mean? But I can't do that. So I need to find people who can work alongside me because they will represent me tomorrow, right?
And I'm sure it's not a good idea to DM you on Instagram with such request. Where should potential candidates reach for applications?
I'm getting a lot of DMs
for sure. Yeah,
lately, and I'm trying to answer as many as I can. But if you do DM me, I will eventually get back to you. It's just going to take some time. I mean, my number is also public. It's public information.
I think it's better to put the email of the HR somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, hr@benandcore.com. So the company is benandcore.com. So hr@benandcore. I have access to that as well. So we'll get back to you right away. Yeah.
Ben, good luck with the scaling of the company. Good luck with the season 2. Guys, watch season 1. Share on your stories how you're watching the season. Season 1. Tag Ben. And thank you so much for coming today here and sharing your story, your experience, your deals, and a little bit behind the scenes of $1 million listing.
Yes,
thank you, Ben.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.